And I'm going to start down at number 14, since I know most of us haven't gotten to the end yet, so that you can, so I'm not working one that some of you guys have already done. So every single one of these, and we got to have our steps. That's one thing some of us are missing yesterday. We're not going to get credit for these if we don't have some work on there, okay? So every one of these has the very same first step. So everybody go down to number 14 and write this down, okay? The first step is the same for everything because I have that 3 and that 4x. Now we want to get the x by itself, but the problem right now is that that x is trapped in the parentheses with that 3. Variables are racist a little bit. They only like to stick with their own kind. You can't actually combine, you can't put together an x and a 3. So that means that there is nothing I can do to put together that 3 and that x. So I can't combine it. So what I'm going to do for every single problem on step 1 is I'm going to distribute. And for those of us who need a reminder about what distributing means, it's another way of saying that we're going to multiply. So we are going to take that 4, because that 4 sitting next to the x, or I'm sorry, next to the parentheses, does mean multiply. So it's kind of like these guys are stuck in jail right now. Their buddy's going to break them out. So we're going to do 4 times 3, which is going to give us 12, because that's a positive times a positive. Then we're going to multiply 4 times a negative 4, because that minus and that negative is exactly the same thing. So positive 4 times a negative 4 gives us a negative 16. And there's an x on the end of it. Don't forget about that x. So it's going to be negative 16x. And I'm going to scooch those closer together. So 12 minus 16x. Then I'm going to bring down everything else. So every one of these, the first step is the same. We're going to do that multiplication. Thank you. Number 14 is where we're writing right now. Right there, boo. Okay, so step 2 is what you've been doing for the better part of a week. After we get that 3 and that minus 4x out of those parentheses, after we jailbreak them out, now we're going to isolate that variable. We're going to get that variable by itself, and we're going to do it by canceling some things out. So remember, you got to use opposites. So remember that I'm not going to do this, okay? That 16 sitting next to the x means multiplication. You have to cancel out multiplication by doing what? Division. If you divide first, though, that's going to make this problem harder because you got to divide everything. And who wants to do 12 divided by 16? I don't, because it's going to give you a decimal. Nothing wrong if you do it that way, but it's just going to make it harder for you. So getting rid of that 12 is much easier. Is there a negative in front of that 12? No, that's a positive 12. How do we cancel out? What's the opposite of a plus 12? Should be writing this down, baby. Do we have all of that first step? Oh, you do have that first step, but we should be doing this next step. So I got pencils. See right there where it says pencils up there, sir? You can help yourself. So I'm going to cancel out a positive 12 with a negative 12. I'm not going to do it here. Again, variables are racist. They want to be with their own kind, okay? Although I guess I'm giving math kind of a bad rep. I probably shouldn't say that. So we don't want to put them together. So instead, we're going to do the minus 12 under there, where the other number is. Oh, shoot. Thank you for correcting me before I made a mistake. Thank you, ma'am. 116, you're right. So what you're going to type into your calculator to do this part right here, I know the buttons are a little weird. You're going to do that negative button, 116, subtract 12. I've had some people that have been trying to put in 2 minuses in there. And so we need to do negative 128 is what we should have gotten. Yeah. I'm getting ready to bring down the 16. You're 100% right, sir. I just haven't done it yet. So those cancel. And then you're absolutely right, Brandon. We're going to bring that down because we haven't done anything with that 16x yet. I just did something a tiny bit wrong, though. What did I forget to do when I brought down that 16x? There's a negative in front of it. That minus and negative means the same thing, folks. That's probably the number one mistake I saw in your all's papers was I saw you guys forgetting to bring down a negative number. So we're going to bring down that negative 16x. And again, remind me what it means when the 16 is sitting next to the x. That means multiplication. How do we cancel out multiplying? We don't do it with adding. We do it with division. You're correct. So every step is going to be the same order here. We're going to distribute to get that stuff out of the parentheses. We're going to then cancel stuff out. And it's going to be easier to get rid by adding and subtracting first, then divide second. Okay, the order technically doesn't matter, but it's going to be easier on you. So on the left-hand side, those 16s are going to have canceled out. That's going to leave me with an x. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. Negative what? Or I'm sorry, positive what?
8.
8. Nice job. I'm going to work number 13 for the group. I'm kind of working backwards before I turn you loose. So go ahead and do the next steps. I'm leaving 14 up there as an example for you to go by. And I'm going to do number 13 next. Then I'm going to turn you loose to finish. All right, number 13. What's my first step? Can I get those? Can I do anything with those right now? No, I got to jailbreak them out. So we got to get our little buddy on the outside. He's going to come break them out of there. So negative 7 times positive 1 is negative 7. Negative 7 times a negative 7. Negative times a negative is a positive 49. And don't forget about the n. So step 1, we're going to distribute. Distributing is another way for multiplying. Now I need to get that variable all by itself. So what is sitting there with the variable that needs to be sent away? Say bye, Felicia. So bye minus 7. How are we going to get rid of a minus 7? I knew what you meant. Be careful when you're adding your stuff. I saw a lot of people say this. Type in there, do negative 3 or negative 350 plus 7, and it's going to give you something different. Negative 343, yes. So that's going to cancel. Bring down that 49n. I'm not going to cancel out that 49 with a minus 49. I'm going to cancel it out by division. When the variable is sitting next to it, that means multiplication. We got to cancel that out by dividing. So I got n is equal, what is it? Negative, what is it? Negative 7, that's right. Thank you. Every one of these on this paper has those same steps. Jailbreak, get that stuff out of those parentheses. Then cancel out what you need to do by doing opposites. I'm going to leave these up here for you. I'm going to come by and check on you guys individually, make sure you're good. Our goal is just to get this finished. When you get done, I'll look at it. You can go ahead and get an early start on your homework. And I do have paper copies in case you guys prefer to have that to an electronic copy.